This episode is brought to you by Anchor. If you haven't heard of Anchor by now, you're really missing out because it truly is the easiest way to make a podcast. This free app has creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. Today I'm using my phone, tomorrow I'm using my computer. You never know which one I'm going to be using. Anchor does distribute your podcast for you, so that's pretty cool because then you can hear it on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and really wherever you get your podcasts. You can make money from it. There's no minimum listenership, so that's really nice. And it's everything that you need to make a podcast all in one place. It's truly the one-stop shop. So if you're interested in getting started on your own podcast, I strongly urge you to download the free Anchor app today or go to anchor.fm to get started. That's ANCHOR.FM to get started. Hi, Mary. How are you?
Good, Carrie. Thank you so much. How are you?
I'm wonderful. I should actually ask, do you prefer Miriam or Miri?
Miri is my nickname.
Okay.
People who feel close to me use it. It's fine.
Yeah. I noticed on Facebook it's Miri a lot. So, okay. Well, I always start with these interviews with like an icebreaker question. So I'm just going to ask you something totally random.
Okay.
What's your favorite food?
Ooh, I'm Brazilian.
Ooh.
We fry a lot.
Uh-huh.
So there is something called coxinha de galinha. Oh, that it's made out of chicken and dough, and then you put it it's like a patty in the
Okay.
shape of a like a bone, and then you deep fry it, and
Mm.
there's no bone inside because the chicken has been torn apart. Oh my god, that's heaven.
Yeah.
A lot of calories, but it's heaven.
Well, calories or whatever. Um, actually,
What's counting?
I stayed at a bed and breakfast years ago, and it's up like as far north in Wisconsin as you can possibly go, like on this little island. And the owners had lived in Brazil for I think 10 years or so, and one of them was a chef. So the breakfast was like to this day, I can still taste it when I think about it. They were like Brazilian banana pancakes, and I'm
Oh,
like, oh my God, so, so good. Ugh.
the food is very good, Brazilian food.
Mm-hmm.
So look
Yep.
for restaurants.
Yeah, I'm a little envious. Did you grow up in Brazil?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. How did you, and you're in America now?
Yes, I'm in America already for 32 years. I'm
Okay.
an American citizen. I'm more here than I've been in Brazil.
Yeah.
Came for college, and the rest is history.
Okay. I was going to ask, how did you end up here? But college is a good answer. Okay. Excellent. Well, Mary, can you tell us who you are and what you do?
Absolutely. So, my name is Miriam Grunhaus, native of Brazil. I'm in the US, like I said, for 32 years. In the first 25 years of my career, I was a graphic designer and marketer. That's my degree that I got from Fashion Institute of Technology. And I worked mainly with pharmaceuticals, teaching employees that ethics is actually good for business. And
Mm.
I loved it. And I got a lot of satisfaction from doing the work fulfillment because I'm very passionate about ethics and integrity. But when adversity hit, it was the exactly same time in my work life where business had slowed down. And I felt that I needed to be more busy because I wanted to numb my pain. At the time, I didn't see that as numbing my pain. But when I look back, I realized that this is what I was doing. I really wanted to figure out a way for me to be busy for 18 hours a day until I had to go to sleep, and then I wouldn't think about my pain. And so, as an entrepreneur, somebody who's passionate about business, I started a new company in fashion. And it is an area that I knew nothing about. And I had to really learn it. But I am very driven, and I knew I was creative. And I started designing clothing. But for 2 years doing that, I was not feeling the fulfillment that I had in the business with ethics. And at the same time that I was really struggling with figuring out why am I not fulfilled, what am I missing in the company, I received a video from a young Thai man telling the story about the Japanese art of kintsugi. And I didn't know the art. I think I've seen the pottery in the past, but I really didn't know what kintsugi meant and represented and the history of it. And he was telling the story how this art represent mending and healing, and he was telling how this works. Well, I became obsessed with trying to learn more about the history of the art, how it works, and then how it really connects to healing, because I was thirsty to heal my heart. And as an artist and as a visual learner, when I was able to see the pottery mended with gold, to me it was an aha moment, because I realized, okay, there's work that I can do to also heal and to become stronger, because a kintsugi piece, when it's properly fixed with the right lacquer, the right material, the right time, if it falls again, it won't break in the same areas. It will break in new areas, but not where it was broken, because it becomes stronger. And because it was used, you use gold, the piece become very expensive, and the workmanship is expensive because it's time consuming. And I started putting all of these facts together, and I saw how really it does connect with our healing our broken hearts. I went into this obsessive state of learning about kintsugi. And then I said, okay, I am kintsugi. I am going to heal my heart. I am kintsugi, and I need to figure out what is the goal and how I have to mend myself. And I said, you know what? The people that can teach me are the people who did it. I seeked out counsel of therapists at my worst, but I learn differently. I prefer to learn from people, regular people like me, that did the work, and I wanted to know how they healed. And that began a period of now 3 years that I constantly interview thrivers, women from all walks of life. This past year, I started interviewing some men too. Their individual stories are completely different. There is abuse, rape, there is limb loss, there is a chronic illness, there is abandonment. There's so many different stories that the women shared with me. And I started taking notes. I wasn't just interviewing for the sake of sharing their stories in my blog, which I did, but I started writing down the lessons that I learned from each woman. And I was very meticulous about what did this woman teach me? What did she do that I can try to implement in my life and see if it works? And I started noticing patterns. And the most amazing findings from this research was that it didn't matter the age, the color, the ethnicity, the religion of each woman, but more than anything, it didn't matter which type of adversity they went through. Really, the steps that they took for healing were pretty much the same. Different orders, different methods of implementation, but the concept were the same. And the more I was reading and learning about kintsugi and also dissecting the art itself, I saw that the process that these women implemented in their lives is exactly the same process of mending the broken pottery in this method that the Japanese use since the 1500s. And I decided that I was going to write a book, which came out this year. The book shares the top 10 things that the women did. But what's important for the people to know, especially when people read the book, is to understand that every single one did these 10 things. And I was trying to tell people like that. We start a business, right, for the professional of us, or we build families. Some of us become parents, and we always say there is no manual. There's no manual. We have to live life and figure things out. But I almost want to say that there is a manual for healing. It's going to look a little different per person, but there is a way. There are specific actions that if we start taking and implementing them in our lives, we can put our hearts back together, we can mend, we can find joy again. This became my mission in life, to tell women, and to tell anyone, but I speak mostly to women, that there is joy after adversity. So my clothing line became a representation of kintsugi. I completely did a launching of the company. All my designs represent in one way or another kintsugi. I wrote the book. I'm creating a course, and I actually even started coaching because some people who read my book approached me and said, "I need you to take this, you know, to a more consistent level. I don't think I can do this alone, but maybe if I am working alongside you, I can make this happen." And it's interesting, the fulfillment that I was looking for is really here. When I'm in contact with the people and I read the messages of how this is catapulting them into a different lifestyle, it's really giving me all the pleasure, all the this love for living, because you love life when you are of service and people, and you get that feedback that you were able to change people's lives. And by the way, I call it kindness and altruism, the most important of the golden nuggets in the book, and really the most long lasting joy creator um, item, I would say, is being of service and doing for others.
Yes.
And
Wow.
all the women. This is also very interesting, that the women, they, after they went through adversity, they all wanted to work exactly in the area that broke them. They found purpose and meaning in life by doing to being in that world. So for example, a woman who was abused, had a horrible marriage, was beaten, she tends to gravitate to go and do community service or work as a social worker and try to help women that were in similar situations. One would think that you would want to be far away from something that caused trauma, but actually, when you realize that you have something of value to give, it gives purpose to that pain in a mission for your life, a reason for your living.
Yeah. And sometimes it can help that individual heal
Oh,
some of those tiny little cracks that are still there.
for sure.
Yeah.
And life is about this break and fix and break and fix. I always say joy is a choice you have to take. You have to make this choice every day anew. You don't get there. You don't become joyful and now you're a joyful person. You have to wake up every day and say, yes, I'm committed to being joyful today and doing what I need to do to be joyful.
Yeah, you gotta earn that.
Uh, it's a forever job. But I always say, when you build resilience tools and you understand what really brings you joy, it is easier when when you experience some a disappointment, or something difficult that
Right.
happens in life. It is easier to go back to those tools that you built.
Yeah. So the kintsugi, which is the foundation of all that you do, um, your background is beautiful. And
Okay.
I know nobody else is going to see it but me, so I'm very blessed right now. I've been looking at it and I looked at your fashion designs and I have some questions. So the healing with gold is obviously the cracks, right?
The healing, the goal, you see, the way the pottery is fixed, they use a lacquer called urushi, comes from trees in Japan. It's actually very highly allergenic, but it's a very strong lacquer.
Mm.
And after it sets and it cures, you polish it, and then you have a little room that you add actual gold. This is the real way to fix. I mean, there are fake ways to do kintsugi, but this is the real way to do kintsugi. So you then add a layer of gold over that lacquer. So the idea of the gold is to embellish and to show, not to try to hide where you broke. The hard work that you do to mend is with the lacquer, but the gold is for you to know that you don't have to be embarrassed by things that
Mm.
happen in your life, that actually they are your strengths. And it's almost like you got a medal for overcoming. You should be proud of it, you should
Yeah.
display it. So the in kintsugi, you don't hide the breaks, but you show the breaks.
So it's really getting rid of that guilt and shame that so many of us feel.
Exactly.
Ugh.
There's no reason for the. I mean, the whole life experience. This is another thing that I always say. There is no there. There is no destination. There is no. You don't get anywhere. The
Mhm.
entire life is the journey. The
Mhm.
entire life is the tunnel. When people say, "Oh, I'm waiting for the light at the end of the tunnel," you are the light. You are the source of the light. There is no light. The light that you meet at the end of the tunnel is death. But if you want to live a great life, you need to do the work right now, and you need to understand that it's the journey that matters. So every experience that we have, we all go through experiences. We're all, are faced with adversity. So why would you be embarrassed of your adversity? And I'm embarrassed of my, and then we're all sitting at home embarrassed of what we go through when we can unite, inspire each other, support each other, be there for one another, cheer one another. There's no embarrassment. We are here to break and fix. This
Uh,
is the gym of life. We tear our muscles. What is going to the gym? What it is to lifting weights for those who are in this world of fitness? You
yeah.
tear the muscle, right? And then it grows back with that extra, and that bulks
Yeah.
you up. And that creates. So that's life. You break, we become stronger when we fix it. And there is no reason to be embarrassed and to have shame and guilt. We're here to break and fix.
What a great analogy. So, my other question is I'm noticing that there are a few corners that have color. Is there meaning to that?
Yes, there is.
Okay.
So there are a few ways to fix kintsugi. One of the problems that sometimes happens is when pottery falls all over, a piece is missing from the
Mm.
pottery, or it disintegrated to sand, right? It broke in so many tiny little pieces that some pieces they're just not, there's no way to salvage them. Just like in our lives,
Mhm.
sometimes pieces don't come back with us for the rest of our journey. So then what do you do? There are a few ways to do. You could do kintsugi and leave that spot empty and leave a hole in the piece, and you can decorate it with gold all around and leave a hole. The other option is to find a piece of ceramics or a jewel or anything else that you want to add in its place, and then you file it to fit that space, and then you fill it with lacquer and gold. The third way to fix it is just to fill it up with a lot of gold. It becomes it's gorgeous, but it becomes very expensive. So when you Google kintsugi, you will see all the three ways, or just regularly. If you find all of the pieces, then you just have the gold. But yeah, on my wallpaper, there's pieces missing, and then you have spots of blue, and that's the reminder that sometimes we lose some things along the way that don't come back with us for the rest of the journey, but new things are added and join
Yeah.
us.
And my assumption is that we're on the same page here. So, when I work with my clients, and I talk a lot about writing your own story, and sometimes we have to kind of look at whatever chapter we're on, and look at the plot line, the scenery, the characters. Do they belong there anymore? Are they serving us a purpose? Are they lifting us up, or are they keeping us in that last chapter that we just read? So my guess is the color in the kintsugi is kind of like sometimes you have to let things go. They
Yes,
don't serve a purpose anymore, and you have to fill that with something else.
exactly. I have
Okay.
I have a friend who he's a potter. He and his wife are potters, and they're incredible kintsugi artists. They live here in the U.S. and they're Americans. I think he's Israeli, but they make pottery to break it and then make it kintsugi, and people hire them to do that. So they make the pottery in the shape that the person wants, and then they do that, and people request put jewels, put pieces from different pottery, do all kinds of things like that. And that's because they want to celebrate in a way and remember that some things have to be removed, some things need to be replaced, and that's okay. And that's part of life. Listen, people lose spouses, people divorce spouses, people lose loved ones. So at times we do have to say goodbye to parts of our life and welcome something else that's going to come in its place. Sometimes it remains a hole, right? Because sometimes you can't replace that relationship lost. And you don't want to
Right.
forget it. You don't want to forget the void, but you still want to put the rest of the pieces together and move on with life. Kintsugi, there's so many symbolism. You can look at it and you could really assess your life based on that. But yeah, some people just don't. You say goodbye to things in life,
Yeah.
to times of your life, and you just become ready for the new you.
Okay, I think I'm officially obsessed now.
So now you understand me.
I'm like, how can I get some of that on my wall back here? I'm gonna
Sorry,
grab some Sharpies and
I got the wallpaper on Amazon. It
oh,
comes with
really?
sticky paper. It's on and
Uh-oh.
off. We put it ourselves. So go ahead and have fun.
Uh-oh. I figured you designed that. Okay. So you design clothing. I have so many questions. I know nothing about designing clothing. Obviously, I'm like wearing this ratty old sweatshirt and some leggings. This is my usual attire. I know nothing about fashion. Um, so walk me through it. Is it you come up with it from thread to finish, or is it somebody says, "Okay, I've got this dress. Now you make it pretty."
Yeah, no. I actually make my fabric.
Oh
I
my God.
start by buying yarn and I make my
What?
fabric in Italy because everything that I do has it's really has a lot of love in it. I'm a very simple person. You would never say that I'm a fashionista or anything like that. I'm very simple. If I would describe myself as an outfit, I would tell you that I am jeans overalls. I'm more of a farm kind of girl that ended up doing fashion. But I'm very conscious about the environment, fair trade, the people that work. I want them to be well paid for it. So I decided I don't do any work in Asia. I go to Europe. So I make my fabric in Italy. I buy the yarn. I make the fabric because it's very important for me, the tactile feeling. A lot of people with fibromyalgia, cancer, they buy my clothing because they have so many skin sensitivities. They
Mm.
feel once they buy one, they want multiple because it's the only thing that really doesn't hurt their skin. So it starts from that. Once the fabric is ready, I ship it to Portugal where I printed my foil design. That I did design, I made the art. We made big cylinders and then we print the foil on the fabric. And it's a complicated process because my fabric is stretchy. And when you want to print foil on stretchy fabric, it has to be done just so. So it actually is done in Portugal, but all the equipment is Italian. Then I send the designs to the factory, all the measurements of every panel, of everything that to be cut and made samples. They ship it to me. I test on models to make sure that everything worked out. And then we go, I either sell to stores or I invest on a certain quantity to sell directly to the public. I sell a lot to stores. My business is very wholesale based,
Mhm.
and then they manufacture and we ship it out and the stores sell and we sell a little bit from our website. A lot of it is word of mouth. My goal with the clothing is that when people wear it, to feel empowered to heal. They feel empowered to live a more joyful life, to know, to get that strength. And when I get messages from people that said, I put on that t-shirt, I put on the dress, I went to an interview, I felt so good about myself, it reminded me that I'm strong and that I'm capable to do this. So that's the fulfillment that I get through my fashion company. It's not the other parts, because I am so simple. And I could be wearing the same thing like the whole week. Wash, wear, wash, wear. I'm very, very simple. I'm not your regular fashion designer. But for me, it's the message that the clothing brings to people. And another thing is that my dream would be that people, it would become so commonplace that other people that would see you wearing one of my kintsugi clothing would say, wow, she went through something. I
Mm.
need to be kind. I need to, we need to all be more kind. A reminder for kindness, because I think that kindness is the secret of the success in everything that we do in life as individuals, as families, as communities, and in worldwide. If we all just be a little kinder towards another individual. So if I can create something that could create that feeling of I'm going to
Yeah.
be careful, this person healed or is healing of something, and I don't know their stories, and I need to be kind, then that also would bring me tremendous fulfillment.
Oh, you have angel wings back there somewhere. um, so I know you can't see them, but I have a whole bunch of tattoos, and I'm like, how can I turn this into a tattoo with the gold? Yeah.
Oh my
Wow.
God. Yeah, you could do a heart, a broken heart with
Yeah.
Sugi.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. My hamster wheel is a spinning. Um, so, oh, okay. I'm trying to think where to go from here. You do a lot of I know we've been connected on Facebook just for a short amount of time, but I'm seeing you doing a lot of things on Facebook. Can you kind of tell us what you're doing?
Sure. So my interviews were one-on-one. I was interviewing people on Zoom. I would record those interviews, and then I would go over again. I would write a blog and I would write the lessons from the people, but it was a very time-consuming process. So after about 2.5 years, I decided to bring those interviews live because there's so much feeling that you get from hearing the person tell their own story. And then my question guides them because sometimes I want to hear something specific. Sometimes I know what I'm going to hear, sometimes I don't, but I want people to hear. So I started a group called Heal with Gold on Facebook, the same name as my book and my course, which is Heal with Gold, right? We're trying to heal with gold. And I bring these people to speak in the group live, and it has been incredible. I've been so lucky to have amazing speakers. I try to combine some similar topics. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, depending on people's needs. We're doing now cancer survivor stories, but it's not the method that I do my interviews is not about the soap opera of their lives.
Mhm.
That's not the point. The point is the healing, right? The point, the focus is
Yeah.
on the healing and then what they can do for the group that they will also feel that they're using their wisdom for kindness, for healing. So, for example, the woman that I had just a few days ago, she's a two-time cancer survivor, genetic cancer. So she talked about genetic cancers, how to be intuitive about your body. And then she did a 10-minute or 5-minute meditation with us to show how she scans her body through
Mm.
meditation to be connected. So if to for you to notice if there's something not right with your health. So, there's a lot of examples. I did a whole month on soul writing or writing for healing. So I
Mm.
interviewed a lot of women that went through tremendous adversity that healed, helped heal through writing, such as I wrote a book. They also wrote a book, different style books, but it was the journey of writing for healing. And the reason was to encourage people to write more, to write their thoughts, to write themselves an email when they're angry with somebody instead of just snapping at somebody. Put it
Mm.
in writing, give it some time, read the message, and then reframe it. So we try not only, it's not just about the stories, but it's about giving people tools for healing that they can apply in their lives.
Oh my gosh, you're doing so many good things. Thank you.
My pleasure. We don't monetize it. This is free.
Hmm.
The group is for women only, and then I do stream it to YouTube where men can see. Some people ask me why not to let men in the group because some men try to get in, and I just had to decline. I want to have a place where women can talk about women's issues without
Hmm.
feeling embarrassed. If somebody wants to come to the group and say, this happened to me, it didn't feel right, or I was embarrassed, at least they know that they're in between women and we're all friends and non-judgmental. So
Yeah.
the lives I stream outside the group too, but the conversation, I want to leave it a sacred space for women to communicate and support one another. I don't allow any politics or religion in the group. I mean, anybody can say faith and God, and we wish happy holidays to everybody, but there is absolutely no conversation that would cause any kind of division. We have from all religions, all ethnicities, and all ages, as
Yes.
it should be.
Yes. Um, I have a Facebook group as well, and there are men and women in there. It's mostly women, but I have the same rules: no politics, no religion, none of that. My group is actually called Live More Joy. So it's whatever brings us joy, that's what we're talking about. And how do we find more of that? Because there's enough of that negativity out there. I don't want it. You know, we need safe places to be. So thank you
Exactly.
for being one of those.
Oh, my pleasure.
Yeah. So what's next for you? You said you have a course coming up.
Yes, so I'm in production right now. If you just saw my office behind here, it's like cameras and lighting, and um, we have the content created already. It's going to be an intensive course, a lot of work. There's going to be an element of writing. There's going to be an element of creating something with kintsugi. There's going
Hmm.
to be meditation that we're custom making with the whole concept of kintsugi. So the whole course is based on kintsugi. For example, a very important part of kintsugi is the brokenness, right?
Sure.
It's a big part. And we are always taught to get over this stage quickly and move on with our lives. And sometimes by not breaking properly, you're not understanding the steps that you need to go through brokenness, we can never heal because we never did that first process right. So we go through that whole step of kintsugi and then relate it to us humans and
Mhm.
how to put our hearts back together. So I always say if anybody takes this course, they should at least feel 10% more joyful after, but hopefully a lot more. And it's just a good way for people to lift that energy because we're energy, right? And
Mhm.
when we're filled with love and kindness and happiness and serenity, we bring more of that because of the law of attraction, right? We feel that way, we bring more of that. We are down on ourselves, we are depressed, we have more reason to be depressed. So it comes to a point like where do you go when you're feeling so down? But you understand that if you lift yourself up, you're going to bring more up. So there is that point where you have to make an effort. You need to jump, you need to fake it till you make it. There's so many different tactics to achieve it, but it really depends on us to move ourselves from that bad energy to a good energy so we can continue attracting more good energy.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That sounds amazing. I hope that at least one person listening takes your course. Yeah.
I
Okay.
listen. I just hope. I always believe that the right people hear the right messages for them.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
we can't force anything. There is this power in the world that we get the messages that we need to listen, and
Absolutely.
so I'm here to serve. You know, as
Mhm.
if make people happy, joyful, understand their past, use their strength for their future, and that's what right now I'm focused on.
Yeah. My philosophy has always been that the universe provides exactly what we need when we need it, even if we don't understand why we need it. So,
I, I
yeah.
agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah. All right, Miriam, where can people find you?
So for the fashion, the name of the company is Mika Fashion, and it's Mikah. So a lot of people call it Micah. It's
Mm,
really Mika Fashion. The book and the course is healwithgold.com. On Facebook, Heal with Gold. On Instagram is Mika Fashion. And
okay.
I answer questions. I'm very good about communicating and answering questions. I do it myself. So if anybody has a question, they want to know a little bit more about the book or the course or about me, about my trajectory, they can definitely reach out.
Wonderful. And I will definitely link to all those things in the show notes so people can find you.
Thank
Um, Thank you so much for being here and talking to us about kintsugi. I'm officially obsessed. um, yeah, I hope at the very least people come find you on Facebook and just see all the amazing things that you're doing. So
you so much. I appreciate it.
thank you. If you liked what you heard today, please subscribe, share, and leave a review. It truly is the best way to get this podcast into the ears of others who could benefit. You can always join my free private Facebook community, Live More Joy, where you'll find a positive, supportive place to be. You'll also find daily journaling prompts, weekly and monthly challenges, and access to me. You can join my VIP group as well by visiting livemorewithcarrie.com and signing up for the exclusive deals, first dibs on news, and all without the excessive email bombs. Finally, you can support this podcast by visiting anchor.fm slash the Anti-Kale Health Coach /support. Those are in my link tree. If you can't remember those links, you can just go to my link tree, which is linktree.com /KERLIZ. Since the existence of time, we have been told that we are not good enough. We are too loud, too big, too emotional, too bold, too much. I'm calling bullshit, and I'm empowering other women just like you to take back their lives before losing the weight. Certified wellness practitioner, health coach, fitness nutrition specialist, mom of 6, wife, friend, lover of music, all things citrus, sunshine, and the perfect cup of coffee. Former juvenile delinquent with just enough scrappy rebel left in her to help you get shit done. I'm Carrie, and I am the Anti-Kale Health Coach. Welcome to episode number 42. Today, I am sharing my newest obsession. I think I warned you about this on Tuesday. I'm still obsessed on Thursday. Uh, After 25 years as a marketer with expertise in ethics and compliance, Miriam Grunhaus, a native of Brazil, entered the world of fashion design. Miriam's commitment is to the woman she serves. After learning about kintsugi and being empowered by its message, Miriam decided that her brand will be a source of hope and friendship to women. In Japanese culture, pottery that breaks is not trashed. Rather, it is repaired with lacquer and gold or silver. The end result is more beautiful, valuable, and stronger than the original. The message is that broken is not a reason to be discarded, but rather an opportunity to improve. A message that through the process of mending, we become even more beautiful, valuable, and unique than before. The art is called kintsugi. Miriam authored the book Heal with Gold. Inspired by interviews Miriam has conducted with women who have gone through adversity but healed and found joy. She's also launching the Heal with Gold course in 2021. The course guides women through a healing journey inspired by the Japanese art of kintsugi. You guys, she is doing such good things for women and in such a beautiful way. Wait until you hear the way that she designs her clothing. Like the steps that she takes to ensure that the clothing is 100% perfect for each woman who purchases it, out of this world. Completely outrageous. I she's just she blows my mind. Um, so I got to stare at her beautiful wallpaper the entire interview. It was absolutely beautiful, and she said she found it on Amazon, which I think she says in the interview. But go ahead and Google kintsugi. I want you to see it. I mean, you really have to see it. We can talk about it, and it's a beautiful theory, it's a beautiful idea and notion, but to see it with your own eyes, it's it's out of this world. I can't. I'm just obsessed. I want to put gold on everything. Anyway, okay. I hope that you're all doing well. I also hope that you all have a lovely weekend. Um, I will be celebrating my oldest daughter's 21st birthday. Actually, she just turned 21 on Wednesday. Um, she's not the partying type, so it's not like we're going to go out and get hammered and be doing shots, but we are going to celebrate a little bit, so I'm very much looking forward to that. I hope that you all have a lovely weekend as well, and stay healthy and be well.